Yo, what up, everybody? You already know Sly K Loco here with another episode of CannaConvos with 420 Things Grows. Hey, how you doing there, brother?
Doing fine. Yourself?
No, doing pretty good, man. Pretty good day. Can't complain, anything like that. Now, for all the viewers, if you guys don't know, he has been killing it on Instagram. He's been there for the Growers Gauntlet. He's doing just all the massive grows, brother. Your grows are just amazing. I'm very proud of you. I think I want to be like you when I grow up. And yeah, man, everybody out there, make sure to go give him a follow. He has been doing everything out there, supporting the community. Great dude. Here we go. So, how is your day, brother?
Hey, man, it's good. It's good. It's weekend. Why not, right?
Yeah, right. It's shit, man. I work in the kitchen, so on the weekends I get I got to work Saturdays and then I get Sundays and Mondays off. So it's not ideal the way that I like, but shit, it's kind of a weekend, huh?
Yeah, that's what people eat, right? Like, I mean, you gotta hay when the sun shines, right? I used to work at a store. My dad had a restaurant as a kid. He had a sub shop or whatever. So I still have a muscle right here on my arm from chopping steak at a steak shop. Yep,
brother, yeah.
On the
you
grill.
Gotta have them real sharp knife for a steak, right?
Yeah. No, it was like a little Philly cheesesteak stop. But I mean, I had a job since I was like in 5th grade to when I graduated high school. So it was cool.
Nice. Hell yeah, man. Good man. Hey, I know I was one of the lazy ones. I didn't get a job until later. So I wanted to start off like I always do this interview, but I wanted to know, how did you come up with your name?
You know what? It's there's this thing, and I live in Ontario, Canada, so I'm a Canadian. Okay. And there was this old school, and it's still going around today. It's I don't even know the name of it, which is funny. But it's like a grown vegetables in Ontario. So it's like ba, 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 in Ontario. So I'm like, and I played off of that, and I'm like, and that's how I start all my videos. I go, 420 Things Grow in Ontario. So it was kind of like homage to that, and it's growing, and it's vegetables and farmers and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, 420 Things. Let's try it.
Nice. And it fit perfectly. It works very well for you. I like it. I like your hat, your merch, man. You got it fucking killing it, brother.
Yeah, I got lucky. My brother has got a graphics design company.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, hey, man, can you do me a thing? He's like, oh, it's going to cost you a lot of money. I go, okay, fine. I said, I have an idea. I got a clock and a thing. And I just gave him the clock. And I said, and then things underneath. And he came up with the green thing and the lettering and stuff. And I fell in love with it. As soon as I seen him, I'm like, you killed it, man. He goes, you don't want to make any changes? I'm like, nope. Perfect.
Looks beautiful. I like it. Yeah. I think it was Emily Anything Grows when we started this podcast. She gave me the name for CannaConvos, and I was just like, yes, automatically. That's perfectly. I take it. And then I'm pretty sure she sent over the graphic design too, which it's the phone, and it's supposed to be back there, but I don't have it up right now. I'll have it up here in the corner over there. But and I was like, I love it. Accepted it right away, took it, started running with it, and then I sent it off to get it made into a banner. And they were like, well, can we just touch it up a little bit? I'm like, sure. And they just put like a little bit more bud leaves in the back, made it just, man, that little bit stepped up the game a lot. And I like it.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, right? Like, it's just that one little, see, it doesn't have it on this one, but on that one, see, it has it right there.
Oh yeah, the little green.
Yeah, so that was the only change we made, but
it's a big one. Yeah.
So how long have you been YouTube? Well, I've been growing for a long time, man. YouTube is crazy with that stuff, right? That's what I was like, but yeah, no, for growing cannabis, man, I dabbled with it when I was a kid. Buddy was like, hey, I want to grow some in my basement. You work at a golf course. You think you can help me figure it out? I go, of course, man. It's like growing grass. I can grow grass. I can grow plants. Sure, let's figure it out. Okay. So we did some stuff in his basement, and this was, I don't even know how many years ago. It was so long ago.
20?
Yeah, something like that. Like in the early 90s. A while back. And I was just a young kid, and like he was like, I need this, and I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Was it really illegal back then, like in Canada? Because you guys were like one of the first ones to legalize it, right?
No, so you could grow with a medical. It was ACMPR. They've changed it a bunch of times. So right now I'm a medical patient. I got a bad back, so that's why I can grow. Everyone here can grow 4 plants, which is amazing. Like, it's so much better than not being able to grow any. Yeah. But at that time, he was a medical patient, and he just didn't know what he was doing. He goes, it cost me too much, and blah blah blah. Because at that time there wasn't a whole lot of It wasn't a whole lot of. I think maybe you could only grow back then. Actually, now that I think of it, because there was no licensed producers. Yeah, so I guess, and he didn't know what he was doing. And I'm like, we'll figure it out. We went to the local hydro store. We're like, hey, we have this space. We want to do something. The guy's like, try this, try that. We tried a bunch of things, and it was like it didn't work at first, and then it did. So it was like always trying to change and try something new. And that's what I found fun about it. You could grow this plant a lot of different ways.
Ah, beautiful, right? Like I say, the way I like to say that there's just so many variables in growing, dude, that like it's almost impossible for two growers to get the exact same results, because you're in Canada and the temps are different. I'm over here in Washington, the temps aren't that different, but on the east side, I have no humidity over here. So it's just like it's so many variables. It's insane. You guys were able to grow before you had dispensaries?
Yeah, so it was strictly, it had this legislation. It was like medical only. That's it. And Buddy had he was doing some stuff. He was in pretty rough shape. So he was definitely it was hard to get in. Now anybody can get into it, right? Okay. There's websites and you could just pay them and they'll give you the thing. As long as you have a legitimate problem, but yeah. You just pay like normally like like if you were to go to my doctor, he was like, no, can't do it. Sorry. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't do it? Because our governing body, they don't want us doing it. And I go, but you're just going to prescribe me pills? Like you just give me a perk thing. Like I don't want to take these. It messes my stomach. And you know what I mean? I got in an accident. I go, you gave me those so quickly, but you won't sign a paper for me to grow it in my own house. I'm like, okay, man. So give me a referral. And I went to another place and
I had something similar. The same thing happened. I was in a coma for 3 weeks, and when I came out of the coma, I had the back problems too. So I have horrible back problems, like I guess the apathy or whatever the word is, where you're not moving enough. Like the tissues in my back degraded, so I woke up in pain. And the first thing, of course, they do over here is they gave me the pain pills. Man, it's easy. Boom, here you go. Here's a bunch of pain pills. Here's heroin, which it's heroin, man. It's heroin. Yep. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. To the stomach problems, like you said, you get real bad. For those who don't know, if you've never taken an Oxycontin or oxycodone or something like that, it makes you so constipated. Some people itch. Some people just will throw up. They get nauseous and constipated, which can't be fun, right?
Yeah, and that's what was for me. I could if my back was really hurting, I'd take a pill and it would take about 25 minutes to kick in. But if I knew I had to go for a drive, my wife was driving. Even with my wife driving, I would go, okay, it's going to take 25 minutes in. We're going to get there for that time. I'll take it 10 minutes into the drive, because if I took it 10 minutes before the drive, I'd be sick on the side of the road. Couldn't be in a car. So it was tough for me. Like I couldn't do a lot of things. So.
Yeah, I know that. And then I went to my doctor too and was like, I'm sick of this. Like, I don't want to be high anymore. I'm not this kind of high. And I didn't want the constipation and all that stuff. And yeah, I had to go through so much shit. Like, I was like asking the doctor the same thing. I'm like, you can prescribe heroin, but you can't prescribe some weed? And they're like, no, we don't. It's frowned upon. I'm not going to lose my license and this and that and reputation that they have to go through. And it's ridiculous, dude. Yeah. But finally I had to drop that doctor and just go get a nurse practitioner over here on the side, right? But I'm so glad I did it, brother. Do you guys have a lot of benefits with your medical cards over there?
So here in Canada, we don't really have, we have free medical care. In theory, right? So we don't, in theory, because it's not free. You got to wait for it and you got to whatever. Like I could go with now again, it's different. If it's a small gash, I could be there for 6 hours before they put a stitch. As long as it's not bleeding and it's okay, I could be there for 6 hours waiting to see a doctor to stitch me up. So it's a little bit different, but there's no sort of coverage. I've got decent coverage through work, and my wife does too, and it overlaps, but they haven't really started picking up on the cannabis stuff yet. There's a couple kids that were going to school that were advocating for it, and they were trying, and they were in the same company as me, and I'm like, oh, good luck and blah blah blah. But it was like I still don't have coverage, so, and that's why I started growing again at home, because I'm like, I can do it. I've done it before. I helped Buddy, and the amount that they were charging for subpar flower at the official licensed places in Canada, it was It wasn't very
What?
good.
Like $50 an eighth or what?
No, so it was damn near 15 a gram all the way up. Like it was expensive. Now our Canadian dollar is not as much as the American dollar, so that maybe it was whatever. But I was like 200 an ounce, and it wasn't very good. It was super dry. It was super whatever. I'm like, I can't afford that. Screw that. I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah, I never look back, huh?
Pretty much.
Good, brother. Good for you, man. Shit. Some people got to take the stand. You got to take the stand. You got to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna be putting up with this subpar weed that you have to go drive for. You got to go through a lot of shit, man. It's not as bad as back in the day where you had to go through the dope man and shit, but still,
Yeah.
like you got to go through a lot of stuff to get your weed. So you want it to be good stuff. And so, like over here in Washington, we got those tiers. You got the top tier, middle tier, and the booth that's down here for like $50 a fucking ounce and shit. I'm just like trying to tell people you don't want that. But some people don't care. They just want weed, and so I think it's there for those people. The modded washer. I was looking back at your page and I saw that modded washer, yo. What's up with that? What are you doing?
So that is brand new. So I'm washing, and I have two small. Listen. I bought one of them. I did a mod video on YouTube, like the little 5-gallon one, and I did that like 3 years ago. It's got like 15,000 views. One of my most viewed videos. Nice. Step by step, how to take it apart, how to remove. Like there's got these accordion hoses where stuff gets trapped in there, and I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I want to avoid. That license, like I don't trust anybody, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it myself. Put the nice smooth hose in. So I had this 5-gallon one, and I tried it. I don't know, 2 years ago or whenever I did that video, and I got so frustrated with it. It hurt my back. I couldn't do it properly, and I was watching videos on YouTube, and like Frenchy Cannoli, like that guy knows what he's talking about. I tried following his stuff, but that's great when you have the perfect equipment. But I gave my washing machine away. I said, take it, come take. I'm throwing it at the end of the lane where you want it. Come get it. I said, I'm never going to do this again until I had some fresh frozen rosin that blew my mind, and I got to start washing again.
Oh shit!
So I got sucked back in, and luckily, I had a friend of a friend of a friend who it took me almost a year to get hooked up with him, but he had the freeze dryer, he had all the washing machines, he had everything. So 2 years ago's harvest from outdoor, I just put it. I grow in store. I don't need outdoor stuff. I was putting it into rubs and creams for my back, like coconut oil and stuff. I had more than enough, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save this stuff. Hopefully, I can get with him. I finally got hooked up with him. He showed me his way, and I go, "Oh, that's simple." I'm like, that was just missing a little bit. You know what I mean? So I had that guy, took me under his wing, showed me, and I was like, "That's it. I'm buying a freeze dryer." But now I have got too much plants. Like you said, I grow big plants. I like growing big plants. So outside, I got 3 plants growing that are 25-gallon pots. They're really big. They're really big.
Damn, yeah.
So one of them small washers just not enough anymore. It's not enough. And with the bad back problems, I want to put as much in as one as I can, because it's like a process, man. I had a guy come over and he did most of the work because I can't do the lifting of the bags and stuff for me. Okay. But we were there all day. 2 machines running. 15 minutes a pop. We ran 3 runs on each material amount that we put in, and we did that 4 times in one day. So it's like we were doing it all day. I'm like, if I can get a machine that's 20 gallons, I'm like, I can do 4 runs. I can do 1. I could do, you know what I mean? So yeah, I bit the bullet, and I went out and bought the big machine. And of course, I'm one of those guys. Everything I do, it's YouTube. Whether it's my a brake job on a car that I've never done before, or I'm, you know what I mean. Somebody's showing you how to do it, and they've got their own little, ways about it. So I'm like, all right, that's it. I went out and did the video, and I'm like, oh, well, he didn't even show what we're supposed to cut. He didn't even do this. He didn't even do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, screw it. I'm going to make a new video. And I went in depth. I've got about 25 minutes of footage that I have like 40 minutes of footage of me doing it. And I cut it down to about 25. But I was like, I'm going to do that video. I'm going to mod it, and people are going to know what to do. Now, they might have to fast forward through some of my, this is why I'm doing this and that. But I feel like it helps when you don't know.
No, it does. It does help a lot. Because I'm a YouTube person too. I started once I found YouTube and how it could teach you so much stuff. And there are some of the videos that you watch where you're like, okay, like I need that extra step. I need that. You got to be telling me, hey, I'm doing this because of this, A, B, and C, you know, and it helps for the other person who's like, oh, you know what? I didn't think of that. You know what? You're smart, you know, so totally love that. I'm gonna want to check out your YouTube video is that posted already or is it coming
No,
up?
I'm doing the I've got it uploaded and I'm just doing all the links because I bought a lot of stuff off of Amazon and I'm cheap, man. I'm like I can't like you can buy one of these crazy machines, but they're thousands of dollars. Like I'm not doing that. And like, you know what I mean? Buy the parts. And I already had some hose clamps around here and I had some of this stuff. And I was a mechanic before I started a different job. So like I've been working on cars. Yeah, I've been working on cars. My old man's got 66 Mustang, 67 Mustang. Ooh, you know, it's he had a 68 Firebird, a 72 Le Mans, and a 71 Corvette.
Isn't it crazy how YouTube has helped out mechanics? Like, bro, I fucking had to change out a power steering pump on my mom's 98 Ford Escort XC2. And yeah, if it wasn't for that YouTube video, I think I would have been like crazy because, you know, it taught me to get the crow's feet wrench and stuff that I needed. You get the right tool, you can get the job done.
You need the right tool. And you always have to go back in the days. My dad had a book, a Chilton manual for every single car that we had. And it would tell you how to do all those step-by-step things. So that's how I learned. He's like, go in there and take the alternator out. I go, how do you do it? And he goes, the book's there. I'm like, okay, did the book and whatever. So now I've inherited, I have the 67 Mustang was my first car. And it still drives. It's still great. My dad gave it to me. So now I told my son when he's old enough, I said, we're going to rip the thing apart. And we're going to do a YouTube series on it. It'll be Mustang restoration from start to finish. It's going to be hundreds of hours of videos, and we'll categorize it and we'll keep it. And it goes. And then I said, guess what? If you screw up and you go, oh, what did we do? You go back, check the video.
Check the video, baby. That's why the footage is better. It's a little bit better than the book, man. For some reason, the books were always confusing to me. I could never compute what they were saying. Visually, though, all day. I just need to look at it. Oh, okay, that's how you do it. Bam, bam, bam. Beat it out. And for those who don't know what we're talking about when we say the washer, he is talking about 420 things right here is talking about making rosin, right? Ice rosin.
Yeah. So yep.
You want to explain the steps a little
Sure,
bit?
Yeah. So there's different ways to do it. I had started with just pressing flour right off the plant after it was dried and cured, and it was great in the first few weeks. I got a 10-ton press, got heated plates, and I would just take the flour and do that. And it was great. But after about a month and a half, 2 months, your flour, your bud, even if you're keeping it in jars or bags or all the stuff that's out there, those containers, anything, it would just start going downhill. It wouldn't taste as good. It would still get you the same effects, right? But everything, just like everything, light, heat, temperature, it starts to grade. So what I've started to do now is right off the plant, I don't even dry it anymore, which saves a lot on my back. Hand trimming, that's no, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm over hand trimming now too, dude. I'm done. I'm like, too many years of doing that shit.
No, and it just is bad on the back, right? So now I've got a couple machines, cheap machines, because like I'm cheap, and it just takes off all the fan leaves. And then I'm like, I'm going to wash it anyway. So I take it off and I just kind of go right into the bag. So like there's no stem, there's no nothing, it's just bud. And I freeze it right into the freezer right away. So you're not losing any terps, you're not losing anything. It's as fresh as it can be, fresh frozen, right? So right in. They do that with fish too. I didn't know that. They flash freeze them at sea. Yeah, tuna.
Oh yeah. They do.
It preserves it to the best ability. So right into the freezer. Then I have time and I can get ready and wait. And then you put it into the washing machine. So it's a purpose-built thing. It's just a little plastic thing, but whatever. It's like a mini washing machine for like an apartment or whatever, college dorm room or whatever. But it's 20 gallons. So, I mean, it's decent enough. So you put all that stuff in there, some ice, some water. You gotta get that perfect sort of, you want to be just above freezing in the water so that all the heads separate. Yeah, they separate, and then when you wash it and you spin it, and there's like that vortex, as Frenchy Cannoli would always call it. It spins it and it drops in, and because it's cold, it goes to the bottom. and then what you do is you wash it for about 15 minutes after it's sat, and then you drain it out and you put it into these micron screen bags. Okay. Which have all these different levels, 220 where it keeps your like material in, all the way down to like 40 and 25 microns. So it separates all these different levels. You clean it out of there, and
so
then
the higher the micron, the bigger the holes.
No, so the higher the micron, less material will go through it. So the holes like 220 are yes, like stuff like the plant material will go into the 220 work bag, and most of it doesn't come out. But everything else goes through because they're bigger, right? So it's keeping that stuff. The one at the bottom, the 25 micron bag, the number that's the lowest bag that I have out of the 6 bags. If there's stuff in there, like the water has a hard time going through it sometimes. So small if there's any stuff in there. So my guru teacher told me, he's like, you know what? He goes, you can do all those 6 different bags. He goes, but I don't. And I go, well, why not? And he goes, if you want to be highfalutin and you want to get all those different things, he goes, but the bigger trichome heads are this and the smaller ones are this. So he goes, I like to mix them all together and have like a full spectrum. I'm like, sounds great to me. You're telling me what to do. And that was part of my problem. I had 5, 6 different bags. I was cleaning each one, and it's a lot of work to clean each one. So, and then just in LA at the Growers Gauntlet, these guys had brought some hash rosin, like that they did, fresh frozen, same process that I'm doing. But I was like, oh man, tell me, this is what I do. And he goes, try this. And I go, oh, I'm going to try that next time. So there's so many little tweaks and whatever, but that most of the process is take it off the plant fresh, freeze it, wash it, and then instead of drying it, like, I don't know if you've ever done hash before.
No, I haven't.
No, okay. So like most of the stuff was like, put it in, like, like once you wash it, it's super wet, right? They're like, take it, fold it, put it in a thing, get most of the water out, and then put it on a pizza box and leave it for a few days. And it's like, I did that once and it got moldy, and I'm like, that was a waste. Threw it out. Other times I dried it, it got super like dark hash, and I'm like, okay, well, that's not that good. And then that's
why is that? Do you know why that is? Why it just
yeah. So it's just the way it dries. It's drying out faster. It's losing. It's not as a good process. So the way I do it now is I ended up buying a freeze dryer, which man, oh man, I say I'm cheap. That is the most expensive piece of equipment I've bought for my medicine, because it was expensive.
But it's a good advancement though, right?
If you listen, for me to go to the store and to buy like one of these small little things, a gram of live rosin from the government, their licensed government things, it's about $90 a gram.
I don't even know if that's a lot, but I'm pretty sure it is. Shit.
I was talking to some people down in the States. You can get some like way better quality than that stuff for about 55
40 50 bucks. Yeah, okay. But I'm not a dabber personally. I just smoke flower joints. That's all I do. I haven't went that far into it. I feel like every time that I have hit it, I get too fucking high. And I don't like being that high. So.
Yeah, I keep a thing of pepper here, and I know everyone makes fun of me because pepper, like black pepper, like there's some fine ground stuff. If you get too high, which I do from time to time by taking dabs, you smell the pepper and it calms you down. It may be a placebo. Really? Yeah, there's studies out there that say that it works, and somebody told me that, and I'm like, okay, fine. And I tried it, and it helped me one time. So that bowl sits right there all the time.
Nice. Hell yeah, brother. I'm gonna try that one of these days. I also heard that CBD could help you out when you're getting too high too. So well, and for everybody out there, CBD is everybody knows what CBD is. You should know what it is by now. It's definitely a mood stabilizer, as I would say. And so if you are having a panic attack from edibles or something like that, I guess you could just smoke some CBD and it'll bring you down a little bit. So I think it's fascinating that cannabis has something inside of it that helps, not get too fucking high. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, slow it down. Yeah, no. And I've had some. They have these extraction pens, and it's like X amount THC and a smaller amount of CBD. And I have to agree with you, because that right there, I would take it and I go, I'm not getting as bad, but it's still giving me the effects. CBD doesn't do much for me. I grew a couple plants where it was just CBD.
Yeah.
I tried it into coconut oil. It didn't give me any relief on my
Really?
back. Yeah, no, it didn't help. The THC oil does that I do in the coconut oil, but not the CBD. And then I give it to my buddy and he goes, oh man, this is great. This is the best thing I've ever had. And I go, yeah, that's why this plant is so crazy.
Right? Shit, man. It has different effects on different people. I tried a CBD rub also, and I didn't like it as much as a THC CBD. One of those ones, those rubs are fucking great. You guys, if you're in Washington, if you're over here in Tri-Cities, make sure to check out some Dragon Balm. That shit really works. I'll put a picture up here so everybody knows what it looks like. But yeah, man, rubs are highly underestimated. I feel like not enough people are using them for these back pains or ankle pains. I got 6 screws in my ankle on top of the back problem, so I'm like always in pain. I got wrist problems from gaming too much. That's why you better be careful, brother. You've been gaming so much. No, but you use PC though. You're not on a controller.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, they work very well. How? Yeah, I was gonna ask, are you making all your outdoor into concentrates?
Yeah. So you know what's funny is just recently my wife was always giving me problems. So I always had, not problems, but she's giving me shit. You know what I mean? That's what a wife do. Yeah. We back and forth.
What a wife is. That's what she's there for. Shit.
Yeah, we feed off each other. But she's like, man, I took a steak out of the freezer the other day and it smells like weed. And I go, let me see it. I smelled like it doesn't smell like weed. She goes, I say it smells like weed. And I go, it doesn't smell like weed. But I used to keep a lot of my flour from my outdoor stuff. I would just, that's what I was doing. What I was doing was I was taking the flour and before I had the wash machine, and I was just pressing it in the plates to get it down to a rosin to then put into the coconut oil, because I don't know if you've ever tried to infuse coconut oil with flour. It's tough, right? Like
I haven't. Not coconut oil. I've tried like canola oil and stuff.
Well, even that stuff. So like I have one of those magical butter machines. Great. It does everything for you. It's one of my better investments. I've used it so many times.
Nice.
But you put 5 cups of oil in it, and you can only put like 2.5 ounces of flour, because then it's full. So that's 2.5 ounces to 5 cups of oil is not enough for me for my rub. I want 5 plus. So I would have to do 5.5 cups, 2.5 ounces, do that for 4 hours, strain it, get it all out, throw another 2.5 into that same one. And then the oil's coming out this super dark green. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put 5 ounces of what I equivalent to 5 ounces of pressed rosin into that same one into rosin. It came out kind of yellow, way more, better like to rub on and stuff. And what's funny is like I bring it to my massage therapist. I go, here, would you be interested in doing this? I said, I know something. She goes, no, that's fine. The next time I come in, she goes, you know what? Every time you're here and I use your oil and rub your back with it, she goes, I go home and my arms don't hurt as much.
Wow.
Like she's feeling because she's in there doing like deep tissue stuff. So she gets the relief from my oil, which is one of the she goes, I was always like skeptical. She goes, I know it works now. She goes, do you have any extra? And I go, I can't give it to you because I'm a medical patient, but my wife has some that she made from her plants, because she's not a medical, every household's allowed to keep it. I said, she can share some with you. So my wife gave it to her and she goes, great, thanks. So again, so now, okay, so I got sidetracked there.
Don't even trip.
So my wife was like, okay, yeah. So that's where I was keeping all the bud in vacuum sealed, tight bags in the freezer. Well, we had an event over here for Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever it was. And we brought out these treats that we had that were frozen in the freezer beside all the weed. And somebody else goes, these smell like weed. And I go, no, they don't. I smell them. No, they don't. My cousin, who also smokes weed, he goes, no, it seemed like everybody who was a weed smoker couldn't smell it. And everybody who wasn't could smell it and even taste it. I go, wait a minute, you're tasting it? No. Sure enough, everybody could taste it. I'm like, okay, I guess my wife isn't crazy.
I know my wife did the same thing when I had all my trim in the freezer too. She's like, "Oh, it smells like weed." And I was like, "No, it's not. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't." Well, hey, I went up there and it did smell like weed. It did. I have to admit it.
Yeah. So that's why I'm doing it. So now when I'm going to do my rubs, they're going to be fresh, frozen rosin rubs. I might not go from the hash to the rosin. I'll just keep it in the hash and decarb that in the oven and put it into the oil and try that. But at least then it's small. I can put it in a mason jar. And listen, if it's coming out of a mason jar, it's not coming out of a mason jar, right? So, but I can't fill my freezer full of mason jars, right? It would be crazy. So
ain't got no room for anything else, right?
Yeah.
One suggestion I wanted to give you a technique, a tip that I do is when I'm infusing my oil is I get a mason jar, one of the big ones. I think I could fit like almost four ounces of flour in it that's not ground up. I would use one of those and then just do the boiler technique where you just boil it with the water, and that infuses very well. And you could use a lot more material, and all you have to do is get a real big strainer or enough cheesecloth to be able to catch all that 4 ounces of flour. But that works really good, brother. I think you should try that.
Are you like mixing it at all, or you just put it in the mason jar in the double boiler and just let it do its thing?
Double boiler, oil, let it just do its thing, and that's only for 1 hour. But while in that hour, you pick it up and you kind of just mix it around a little bit.
Okay.
Every
much.
15, just every 15, 20 minutes or whatever, and just cook it for an hour and then let it drain. Boom, there you go. Infused, beautiful. I've been making a lot of edibles that way. That has been my technique the whole time that I've been making edibles. I don't know if you saw the last episode or the episode with pigeons when I was on T with P.
Yeah,
I was talking about how I put the 34 grams of flour. That's the technique that I used when I did that. So
cool.
You should try that out. It's a pretty good one, and it's easy. It doesn't take you don't have to buy a machine or anything for it.
Yeah.
And it works very well.
Cool.
What strains are you growing indoors? Because you outdoors, you got. What do you have outdoors?
So I've got 3. So I've been hunting quite a bit lately. I'm searching for that back strain, and I've been growing a lot of copycat genetics. He gets a lot of flack, whatever. That's a whole other topic, but
man, that's your preference. If you choose to grow it, then you choose to grow it.
Again, it is what it is. And, there's herms. Okay. I get herms. It's not the first time I've got herms. I do it. I've been hunting through packs, and right now it's funny. It's a copycat strain, but I got it from Basement Grow Show. I don't know if you know him.
Joe. Oh yeah. Yep. No, Joe.
He sent it to me. I don't know, like 2 years ago. He sent me a pack, an open pack, because he grew some of it out of it, and it was the HGTV unreleased stuff. Him, obviously Dakota, he's HGTV, and then Huygen, they all grew it, and it was a watermelon fruity kind of thing. And I'm like, what, screw it. I have some space, and I threw 3 of them in there last time, and out of the 3, one it didn't wash well. The second one washed well, but it didn't help my back. And the third one washed well and helped my back. So I'm like, that's it. That's the one. So right now I did this. I have my 5x5. Right now I have 10 out of 12 plants. 9 out of 12 plants is a clone from that one that I have, which right here. And I'm like, I need more of this. I need it for the whole winter. I'm going to grow 12 plants. I should have enough to do a lot. So that's my process, man. I really try to hunt through one. And now I've got that mother. It's in my little smaller tent. And then after I do this run and I have a nice good amount that I know will last me a while, start hunting again, throw another 10 pack of seeds out and try it, right? I'm going to do some fast buds. That's the other one up here, fast buds. I'm going to try them. They're fast flowering gorilla cookies. I'm going to try them next. I've seen nothing but good things coming out of fast buds camp there. And I went to Chubbs's place when I was out in LA, and he had some cool stuff going there, and he grows nothing but fast buds. So,
that was all fast buds he was growing. They looked like really big. I didn't think that they were autos because how big they were.
Well, he's growing outside in the desert, right? In a some of his out. He's got like one of them like hoop house things.
Yeah, the covers.
And then he's got a 10x10 in his garage, which oh man, I'm so jealous of that space.
I know.
I wish I could grow that big.
Every time I see a 10x10, I'm just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, man. So again, it's actually helping my back. It's been the best strain in the past 2.5 years that I've been growing and hunting and keeping, because I had a strain that I did. It was this random pack I got. It was called Berry Bomb. It was amazing. I didn't keep the clone. I didn't re-veg it because I didn't know it was great. By
Don't
time
you
I
hate it when that happens, man? Oh my god.
that
You always like all of us growers, we all do it. We all do it, and we have that one that just we want to kick our own asses for not fucking cloning, dude. Ugh.
never again. It hasn't happened since. I've always kept a clone until I've had a chance to smoke it and rate it and go, yep, it's good for. Since then, I've hunted through 2 more packs from that same company. No unicorn. And I just got some from Seedsman there, another one there. I just got, they had it. I'm like, I'll try it again. So I got another 10 pack trying to get back to that pheno that I had. But that's why I'll never, I can't do it again. I won't do it again. So that's what happened with this. So now I got the mother. Got too many mothers now, but
hey man, that's a good problem to have. Shit. we do that. I have a big ass mother in my tent right now that I need to flower. So I'm just like, fuck. I don't know. I'm gonna tear everything down. I'm just gonna do a whole restart because I think I might have russet mites or something like that. Could be HLVD. I don't know. A bunch of people are throwing out stuff and whatever. The buds are brown and I'm not liking it, so I'm just gonna restart with everything.
I've seen you running those blue mat carrot things, eh?
Yes, blue mat systems, beautiful. I love them.
Yeah, I've seen a few times you've had some issues though, like with like
there is a
user error, or is that
that's user error, and it's a learning curve too. You got to know what you're doing. The one main thing that you want to do with these blue mat systems is never let the reservoir dry out. Okay, once it gets empty, then the whole system doesn't work right. And if you just go fill it up again, it'll just spit out all the water all the ground and you'll get a flood. But that's because the carrots dry out. If the carrots dry out, then you will have that problem. Yeah, you gotta. And I got a hold of blue mat system and I asked them, Mr. Grow It too. I dropped them a couple messages like, hey bro, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, this is what's wrong. You just got to reset it and then keep the reservoir set. And ever since I found these little, the learning curves, once I get over those curves, haven't had a problem with them. They're absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
Kept my plants alive. I haven't even had to. I just have to go in there every 3 days. Yeah, about 3 days and refill the reservoir.
Okay. What size reservoir are you running?
5 gallon.
Big one? Oh, okay, 5 gallon.
It's a 5 gallon for 2 5-gallon plants. If I had 3, which is the beautiful thing about that is you could adjust them. You just pull off the line, put another line on, new carrot. There you go. You're on. Yeah. So, and the kit that I bought was $110 kit, and that comes with 12 carrots and a splitter thing to where you could go from one tent to the other tent and still be running off of one reservoir. So
that's cool.
Stupid cool. No plug-ins. You don't have to plug anything in. You just set it and forget it. But there's that learning curve. So everybody, if you're gonna give it a try, just be ready for a couple floods. But once you get it down, you're good. I was definitely a little pissed when I saw those floods too. I was like, "Fuck! What the fuck did I do?"
And then you round out, oh, it's me. Damn it.
Yeah. And then you got to be like, oh, okay, I'm the dumbass. All right, well, and that's one thing that I didn't want to start getting pissed off about it, and I didn't want to give up on it. Because I was like, I know there's something, I'm just not doing something right. And I'm glad that I didn't, because they are fucking working great. All I have to do is just go in there and feed once a week, pour some more water on it.
There you go.
I've been top. I haven't seen anybody put nutrients in their reservoir because I think it might muddy up the carrots or something. I don't know. I haven't done that yet, and I haven't seen anybody do that yet. So that might be an issue.
Yeah, I like to change things up, and I did some organic stuff one run, and I had the best tasting GMO cookies that I ever had, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm never going back. I'm always going to do organics. And then the next run, I had fungus gnats, and then I said, nope, never doing organics. I can't.
That is one big thing about organics, brother. You get fucking fungus gnats bad. Fungus gnats will come, and it's one thing. Like, I heard that you can get fungus gnats in cocoa too, though.
And I haven't seen that yet. So that's what I'm doing now is cocoa, and I haven't seen it. But I had 2 3-gallon pots and a 2x4, and I had so much fungus gnats. My wife's like, man, something's wrong this year. We have fruit flies at this time of year. We never have fruit flies at this time of year. And I go, where are you seeing these? She goes, in the basement. I go, yeah, those aren't fruit flies. Those are fungus gnats. And she's like, what? She goes, I thought you had that under control and blah, blah. I'm like, nah, sort of.
Yeah, the good thing about fungus gnats is that's a good sign that you have a good mycelium network growing in your pots, so that's good. But on the bad side, they can blow up. With fungus gnats, I had Matthew Sink Angel on here, and he was talking about how that you like shouldn't even worry about the adults because the adults are already going to die off. Is what you want to start attacking is the larva that is in the soil. So that's why you would use a mosquito puck or one of these beneficial bacteria that actually kill off the larvae. And once that's done, then the adults die off, and then you should be good. Now, I have never gotten to that stage yet to where the fucking adults die off. But, I've been fighting them for a minute, man. Fucking fungus gnats. But I feel like fungus gnats are a better one to get because it's not like spider mites. You're not going to get your buds. Have you ever had that happen yet? Oh, no. Knock on wood, but I pray that this never happens to you. But one time I opened up my tent and the buds were just wrapped all snug. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I look up and oh my God, you could see them all crawling on. It's literally wrapped with spider webs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was
shaking off. Yeah.
That one was a fucking ugh. So what watering system are you using?
So I'm using right now. This is the second time I've used this company. I did actually it's the third time. I had multiple iterations of it. Floraflex. They're out of California. They're an American company. Apparently they're not very big. There's just a small little knit group of them or whatever. But they have a lot of watering systems. So they've got like this matrix one. It's got 2 hoses and it's got a big network of stuff going through, and it's got a mat underneath. And that's what I used when I was just doing straight water and more organics. And that's the first time I used it. And it helped. I think that's might have what helped kept my fungus gnat problem in check. The second time when I had crazy fungus gnats, I didn't have those. So regardless of that, you can do that on soil. You can do it on anything. And then that was great because it had like 8 different prongs and I had the 4 plants. It was great. And then now, so when I moved over to cocoa, I did 1 pot. It was a 5-gallon cocoa pot. And that's that huge plant I just grew that it ended up being wet weight because I'm not drying it, right? It goes right into the freezer. And I, like I said, got no sticks. I got 11.5 pounds of wet bud.
God damn. So that would probably be fucking 5 of dry, maybe?
Everybody, so I was talking with the bud trainer guys, and H from Bud Trainer, he's pretty, he went to school and he's got a lot of stuff, and he starts calculating in his head, and I go, okay, I'm listening, I want to see. And he goes, usually you can get like 15% but you took all the stems off. He goes, you're probably going to get about 20%. I go, listen, I'd be okay with the 15%, but I'm never going to dry it, so I'll never know. But now I'm going to start weighing it per wet weight, and then I'll know. But this plant took up the whole 5x5, and I was like, oh my God, cocoa is the best thing ever. Again, just like when I said it for the organics. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do smaller plants. I can't. This got to wait. I was veg for no time at all, and it got so big. Really? And I scrogged it, and listen, shout out to Northern Scrogger, man. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah, shout out to. I'm going to have him on soon.
Oh, nice. Troy's a good dude. I play video games with him a lot. And I was talking to him. I go, Troy, how do you do this? And he goes, yeah, it's bad on your back. And I go, yeah. And I can only come in because I'm in a tent, not like Troy. He's got the perfect, nice, he can get around everything. I go, I can't get to the middle. I can't.
Scrogs, man. Trellises, man. They are not good for people with back problems.
No. So I'm like, that's not doing that again. So I went away from that. Now I have 12 2-gallon pots. And I bought a system from them. The 12 2-gallon pots came in the system. It had all the piping, all the fittings, all the stuff. And then it had 2 drippers for each. So it had 24 drippers, I guess. Yep. 12 pots times 2. And it has 2 drippers in each one. And I'm using that one with a 3/4 horsepower pump because I guess they're like regulated. They only drip so much. So it's got to get pressurized. You can
Okay.
buy an
Yeah, I
extra
was wondering
pressure.
about that. So you have to have a regulator connected to the system, right?
No, there's no regulator. It's just,
Okay.
but it's I'm like a 3/4 horsepower like sump pump. Like it's like a like if you were shooting it on a regular garden hose, it would be like crazy pressure.
Really?
So it goes into that and it runs. But I've come to realize that I've made another mistake. I shouldn't have used 2-gallon pots, because 12 2-gallon pots in cocoa. I am now in flower week 2. And have you ever grown a cocoa before?
I have not. No.
So there's some dryback stuff this is only my second time, right? So I'm super new to it. I'm reading and I'm learning and I'm like, this is fun and whatever. But it's like, you got to get 20% runoff. I go, 20% runoff of 2 gallons?
That's a lot.
That is a lot. And I go, I have 12 pots of 2. I'm like doing the math because I'm using cocoa that's only 60%
because it doesn't hold enough water retention, right?
That's it, right? So it's only 60%. So 60% of 2 gallons, and then 20% of that amount is 900 mils. So almost a liter per plant. 12 plants, 12 liters. That's 2 gallons of extra runoff. And so I was watering once a day, and I get to the next day and I'd water it, and I would check the runoff, and it was the EC was through the roof. And everybody says if your EC is too high and you're only watering once a day, up the water. So I went to 2 waterings and it came down. I'm like, oh, okay. But then as the plants got bigger, it started to go up again. So now I'm 3 times a day, and I'm going through 25 gallons of water a day.
Brother, that's a little bit too much. But
next time, no 2-gallon pots. It's dumb. I shouldn't have.
You
done
put it
it
in a 5-gallon pot or something like that?
No, I'm going to do 12 1-gallon pots. So it's going to cut it in half. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Smaller pots, but still. I was growing a solo cup grow for that GGC, and I had it in cocoa, and I'm like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Like I could even go smaller than 1 gallon. And it was funny because bud trainer guys were talking like, you should do 16 of them on there and try it. I go, okay. less runoff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, might as well. So with cocoa, is there anything that you could add to it to make the water retention a little bit better?
Apparently there is, and I don't with Floraflex. So I also run Floraflex nutrients, and it's like, listen, I've used a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different stuff. So I can buy 5 pounds of their water soluble fertilizer. So it's a big, like them Ziploc containers that are like that big, or it's a fair amount. And I've run that. I'm going to run out this grow because I'm going through so much, but it's $26 for 5 pounds. Part A and part B. So it's $50, and that's going to last me a long time. Okay. And they suggest not adding anything, just using their straight cocoa and just no perlite, no nothing, just the cocoa at 60%. And it works well. You got to do a lot of runoff, but and again, some other people have been telling me, H was telling me the other day, because maybe you do a little bit less EC, more feedings, less runoff. And I'm in the process of trying to do that. But first thing would be, don't do 12 2-gallon pots. Get a 5x5 of cocoa. Plants are stupid.
So I'm seeing that there's a learning curve with this too, then.
I'm just dumb.
As anything, like I'm pretty sure with everything, there's a learning curve. Once you get over that shit, then you're gonna be having a good. You were talking about in your post that that they're going too big, that the stretch is starting to happen right now.
Yeah, they were going
twitch.
2 and a bit inches every day.
Oh shit! So by the time that and now I saw your table is a little bit elevated. Could you just lower the table?
So I got a dehumidifier underneath and a heater underneath it. I'm thinking about doing it. So the stretch has slowed. So I'm in week 2. And the plant hasn't grown 2 inches because it would be past the light by now.
Yeah.
So it hasn't. Now, is it because it's so close to the light and it's getting probably 1,500 par? Like, it's probably. But man, I'm so used to having. I usually have 6 plants in that same space. So I'm now double the amount of plants. But because I have 6 plants, I have to train them and top them and bud trainer clips and spread it all out and make it fit that spot. So I got to go a bit longer veg. But what I found with that process, which is fine, my buds are smaller. There's more of them, but I've got, because I have like, I've topped it 3 times, maybe 2-3 times. So I have a lot more tops, but all the buds are smaller. This time I've topped once, and the plants are so, like, the stalks in the plants are almost 3 times the size they are when I have 6 plants in the same sort of thing. So I'm like, there's definitely these nuances to I didn't even think of it. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's probably why, right? I guess I'm no expert. I'm just chugging along, figuring it out. So I'm having fun doing it though. So guess what?
Yeah, man, you're killing it. It looks great. Like, I've been thinking about getting one of the pumps, and like when I was looking into watering systems, I was thinking about getting one of those submersible pumps and getting a drip system like that, because they work really well. But the thing is, you got to keep an eye on that the pump, and you got to turn it on. It's another thing you got to plug in. If you already have all these fans and lights and air conditioners and everything else going
Timers
on, timers and fucking heaters and wintertime, too many things to plug in. That's why I went with the Blue Blatt system. I was like, oh wow, there's a watering system now you don't have to plug in. I was like, oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what's your preferred medium to grow in? Is it cocoa now?
Right now it's cocoa, but before I hit cocoa, it was definitely Pro Mix. I've been a pro grower all that. So outside, even now when I do organics, I do 20% worm castings, and the rest Pro Mix in a 25-gallon pot. So it's a fair bit. Like, so 25-gallon pot, you can get, them big bushels of Pro Mix, like those big ones. You can get 2 25-gallon pots out of that. So that much Pro Mix, that much worm castings, and then Gaia Green. And for outdoors, man, I love it. I hit Natty's Nursery gave me this thing. He goes, you got to go on Amazon, get these, because he used to live in Canada. He goes, I used to get them all the time. These nematodes,
yep.
And it's like a shaker thing. And he goes, get this, you'll have problems. So now outside, I do that. I have no fungus gnat problems. No, and I like that outside. So I guess it depends. If I could never have fungus gnats, I'd probably do organics. But because of the problems that I had inside, I'm not going to do that. It just, my wife is saying there's bugs in the house, and I don't want bugs in the house. I cut the grass on I have a riding lawnmower, right? Because I'm on about an acre of whatever. I strip at the door. All my clothes stay there. I run to the shower. I hot shower. I'm cleaning off, making sure there's no, and then I get into my new clothes, and then I'll go into my room in the back, because I don't want to bring, like you said, I don't want spider mites. I don't want anything. You know what I mean? I don't want anything.
Yeah, and that's a very good habit to keep, because like I will admit I'm the worst at that. I'll go mow the lawn and then go right into my grow room and be like, oh yeah, I was supposed to go do something, blah blah blah. And then I'm walking in there, and then I'm like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be, oh fuck, and then I gotta go take off my shoes and change all this stuff. And like, you gotta think, you have to take that into account, because it's one of the main reasons that people get spider mites, fungus gnats, and shit like that, is from bringing that shit from outside to inside. And it always tracks on your feet, on your shoes. Yep. Always. And those are the things that when you're going in to water your tent, if you're hand watering and you have a trellis or something, you got to stick your foot in there and then bend down, and there goes your foot right in the tent. There's the bugs. And one thing that I like to say is that we make a perfect environment for these bugs to live in. So, you can't really hate on them. It's not their fault that we're fucking making this beautiful, perfect environment for them to grow. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, and that's how I've gotten away with not having to do any IPM. Nothing. Oh, yeah. I will put the Nemanites, because they're $20 for a container. Every time I do a transplant or whatever, I didn't put any in the cocoa, but anytime I do Pro Mix, just maybe there's something in the Pro Mix. Maybe who knows? Maybe it's something in the worm castings. I don't know. So I hit that. It's the only IPM I do, and knock on wood, wherever it is, other than those fungus gnats, I haven't had any issues with pet. So I'm lucky.
Oh man, if you get something now, it's gonna be all my fault. I'm sorry.
It came through the screen.
It's my fault. No.
Sly's problem. He did it to me. No. But listen, do it. I swear by it. My wife's, you taking another shower? I go, yeah, I was outside playing with the dog or whatever. I don't stray away from that. Anytime I'm outside rolling around with the dog or throwing the ball for the dog, come inside, shower before I go in.
Beautiful. That's cleanliness is next to godliness, and that is facts right there, right?
Yep.
So how many tents do you got going on right now?
So my main 5x5, I have that. It's where I
Okay.
do my hunting and stuff like that. I have a 2x4, which that's usually where I experiment with stuff, but I've got to the point where I have too many mothers. So my 2x4 has now become my mother tent.
Okay.
And my mother tent, which is only a little
veg
2x2.
tent?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a little 2x2 now, and which has one mother in it that's a little bit bigger than the other ones. And I want to cut it down and get that light out and get the 2x2. I just don't need it. I'm just 2x4 now. So I've sacrificed that for the mothers to try to keep because listen, when you pop 10 seeds, you need 10 clones. You need space. You need 10 solo cups or 10 bud trainer cups or whatever you're going to, like a small container, to let them grow underneath a low light to keep them alive until you can test it to know, oh, number 3 and number 4, they're staying. So yeah, 2 tents is probably enough, but 3 is handy.
I think 3 might be the perfect one, because then you got one for flower, veg, and one for clones. So that's why I got it right now. But actually, I got 4 or 5 tents. I got one for haying too. And fuck, man, if we went through it, like, we buy so much shit when we're growing.
Yes.
There's so much fucking money gonna go into that shit. When you're testing, where do you send your clones out to test?
I don't test. I mean, the testing I'm talking about is I keep them, and then I grow out the plants, and I'll try it in the washing machine in a small batch that I usually I try to be small.
Yeah.
Like, so a 3-gallon pot, that's what I was doing in the soil before, then the Pro Mix. And then I would wash that one in a small batch and then go, oh yeah, because it all depends. Like, especially any breeder you get a 10-pack of seeds, feminized photo seeds is what I'm using. You could have 10 different plants, right? Like, you could have 10 different phrenos. You don't know, right? So got to keep them all and try it. And then I got those 10 kicking around in like a small area over to the side, and the 3 mothers that I got to cut them down all the time because they're always growing. So that's what I do for testing. There's no real like home grower tester stuff here in Canada. While I mean, everything apparently everything gets tested with the Cannabis Act here in Canada, but there's recalls all the time with their stuff. So it's like, did they really test it? Did they not test it? How to get through? Blah blah blah. And they want money. They want a lot of money for testing, man, because it's not readily available to everybody. If it was like 5-6 companies doing it, you would get a deal or sales or whatever. So for testing, I'm just going with whatever. Listen, if I've got something, I got something. But if it helps my back, and I have that HLP, that whatever that is that I don't ever want to, I don't even ever want to know about it. Yeah. I don't want it.
I've been dealing with it. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. But you know what though? If it helped my back and it was with that, so be it. It helped my back. I don't care. You know what I mean? But maybe it would help my back even more if it didn't have it. So again, no, it's not big here. It's not testing. It's not big in Canada. I mean, for the home grower, I don't know about anything about it anyways.
So one thing I wanted to express to everybody out there is that if you have back problems are like no other pain. Okay. You just want anything to take the relief away, man. Anything. You don't care. Like, I don't care what it's from, as long as it's not fucking heroin. But anything else, I don't care, dude. If it helps my back, I want it. Please, thank you very much. Shit. I feel you, brother. I feel you on that fucking back.
Well, the back, it touches into your neck. It touches into your arm. Like, it's in your knee. It's everywhere. Your back,
mine is my butt. Mine is my ass and my L4, L5. So all the time, my fucking butt, my back is just, I can't bend over for too long. I was changing a tire a couple days ago and I didn't have my power tools on me. I usually have my power tools. So I'm like, get the tires off, right? Nah, I had to do it old school this time. And I had a scissor jack. Oh, brother. I was down there just like hurting. Oh, I got up and it just felt all this in the back of my knees and everything. Just, Jesus, I did not like it. Let's talk COD. I saw that you have been killing it on COD, brother.
Wow, I don't know about killing it.
Oh, man, you better stop. You're getting dubs like crazy.
Man, I've been playing Call of Duty since the first Call of Duty.
Really?
Yeah, man. I was playing before Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, Allied Assault.
Ah, yeah.
That was my first one where I got into a clan and we got into practices and playing on a team and calling stuff out. And we had team speak back in the day. Like this is like 1 meg service, right? Like this is back. This I don't even want to know how long ago. It's long, well before I had kids. I was still a kid at the time, and we would spend hours practicing and doing strategy and stuff. I've gone from that to now. Everything's cool now. 4K, crazy computers. Look, you want to see something crazy? Look at. Oh, it's kind of got a bad glare there, but it's like, man, you can.
It's sexy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I barely started playing COD. Man, I've been gaming since I was a kid, right? But I did not like first-person shooters. Even 007. 007 came out, and I did not like first-person shooters because you're just going around in circles. Once you knew the map, you knew exactly where somebody's hiding. You know all the tricks. Now, I sat there and I started playing COD, and I gave it a chance. I got away from one of my friends. One of my friends was like turning me off of it. That's why I never really played it. But now that I'm not kicking it with him, I was like, let me try this. I bet you I'll be okay. And I started mastering it. My best thing was plunder. I was a plundering motherfucker, dude. I had 99 wins before they took it off. Oh,
it's back now.
Is it back?
It's back. I think last week or this week we were playing it today. Me and my buddy. Plunder's back, baby. Yep,
bro. I'm jumping on. Oh my god, I'm gonna jump on it. Plunder is my shit now because I'm not. I mean, I'll shoot and I'll fight, and I'll defend myself and all that. But I'd rather just go around and look for shit. Get it, and then listen out for somebody behind you or whatever. I just love plunder. That was my shit. But I saw you and Pigeons and Rob were playing COD the last time I was on Twitch, or last time he was on Twitch. I jumped in there and gave you guys a shout out.
Yeah, I've seen you come in. No, it's fun, man. It's fun when you get other guys who are put some effort into it too. You get random people you're playing with. It's like it's not that fun. You need your squad.
Not. Yeah, you need your squad, man, because it's just better. You got random people who aren't taking it as serious as you are, and you're trying to get this damn fucking W.
Yeah. They don't even have a mic. They don't even have mics
half the time. Shit. All right, brother, we are at our hour mark. That went by so quick.
Yeah, sure did.
Damn, I still got a couple more questions, but we'll save those for part 2 if you're down. We'll have you on, definitely. Is there any sponsors or anything that you wanted to tell the new growers? Anything like for tips, anything, the variables, how we were talking?
Just try it, man. Just try it. Just get your hands dirty. Get in your hands some soil. Try it. If you can afford to do it, try it. Like, again, if you can't afford to do it, maybe you shouldn't try it because maybe you're going to fail and you're going to be pissed off or whatever. But if you got some money, you can get a tent and you can get cheap tents. You don't have to get the crazy cool. Like, listen, AC Infinity is great stuff. It's expensive, but once you get it, it saves you so much time, dude, in effort. And you want to know what my plants are doing? I could tell you right now. I just go on my phone and it tells me. You know what I mean? So
me too. I could do it too.
Yeah. So that's great. But I mean, just do it. Just try it. If you can, if you have the ability, try it and fail. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get some crazy spider mites. You burn the tent down. You start again.
Yes, man. And for that, on that note, just failing is not a failure. Failure is knowledge. You're knowing. That's how you learn, is by failing. You don't learn by always killing it all the fucking time. So, you got to just take the time or take the leap. If you want to do it, take the leap, people. It'll trust me. If you get the growing bug, you will not regret it.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. That was a great show. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there any sponsors that you wanted to shout out?
Nah. Nope. I don't. Well, I mean, I don't have sponsors. I just have affiliate marketing. If you go check out my whatever that's down here, over there, wherever it is. If you see any of my stuff, I throw it out in the links and the comments and the descriptions. If you want to help me, that helps me. I don't need to step on anybody's toes or whatever. If somebody finds me for what I've done, that's why I want somebody like that to use my code. And if you're gonna do something like it's one of those things. I'm not big enough to have sponsors. I wish I did.
Oh, yes, you are. Don't sell yourself short.
Listen, I'm making some money, man. Like, and that maybe that's part 2. We talk about that, about
we will
trying to save some money and doing this for a living, not a living, but a side hustle, right?
A side hustle. That's what it is.
You're already going to do it to help you with your back pains. You might as well do a side hustle.
You might as well make some money and get a little famous while doing it, huh? All right, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. I will definitely
Thanks for having me.
Part 2. You're welcome anytime. For everybody out there, make sure to tap in for the next episode of CannaConvos. I will be putting all 420 Things Grows links on the description of the YouTube page. Also, we're going to be tagging all the people that we mentioned here for the promos on Instagram. Well, so thanks again, brother.
Vegas, baby. Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. MJ BizCon. Everybody be ready. We're going to be in Vegas making content, doing podcasts, everything. 420 Things Grows here. He's probably going to give me a ride when we get there. We'll see what happens, baby.
I got you.
Yeah, you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for tapping in. We'll see you next time. Lates.